Blue-ringed octopus. At first glance, it looks too small to belong in a deadly animal story. It can fit in the palm of a hand, with soft skin, short arms, and bright blue rings that only become intense when it feels threatened. That warning display is not decoration. It is the final signal before one of the most dangerous bites in the ocean. Blue-ringed octopuses live in shallow coastal waters across parts of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, often hiding in tide pools, shells, coral, and rocky gaps. The danger comes from tetrodotoxin, a powerful neurotoxin also known from pufferfish, which can block the signals that nerves use to control muscles. A bite may be so small that the person barely notices it, and that is what makes it especially frightening. What makes this creature different is not aggression, but efficiency. It does not need size, teeth, or speed to become dangerous because its venom targets the basic electrical system of the body. A person may remain awake while the muscles begin to fail, creating one of the most disturbing effects in the animal world. Most encounters happen when people pick one up without understanding what it is, treating it like a strange little beach animal. In nature, the octopus uses its venom to subdue prey, not to hunt humans. But one careless touch can turn curiosity into an emergency. Its tiny body makes the threat feel almost impossible, and that contrast is exactly why it stands out. Among small creatures, few are more misleading than something this beautiful, quiet, and capable of stopping a human in minutes. Irukandji Jellyfish. The scariest thing about the Irukandji jellyfish is how little there is to see. Some are barely larger than a fingernail with a clear bell and thin tentacles that almost disappear in the water. A swimmer can pass through its space without realizing anything dangerous is nearby. It is found mainly in warm waters around northern Australia, where beaches sometimes close when conditions favor jellyfish activity. The sting itself may feel mild at first, almost too small to match what follows. Then, after a short delay, the body can begin reacting in a way that feels far bigger than the creature that caused it. The venom can trigger what is known as Irukandji syndrome, a severe reaction that may bring intense pain, sweating, nausea, high blood pressure, and a terrifying sense that something is very wrong. The strange part is that the first sting does not always warn the victim properly. Someone may leave the water thinking it was only a minor irritation, and only later realize the situation is becoming dangerous. In rare cases, the pressure on the heart and blood vessels can become life-threatening, especially without fast medical care. This tiny jellyfish does not chase prey like a predator in a movie. It drifts nearly invisible using venom as part of a simple survival system. That quiet drifting makes it more unsettling because the danger is not loud, fast, or obvious. It turns open water into a place where the smallest shape can carry the biggest consequence. For a creature so small that many people would never notice it, the Irukandji jellyfish has built one of the most frightening reputations in the sea. Sydney funnel web spider. A dark hole in the ground can be easy to ignore until something inside it moves. The Sydney funnel web spider often lives in moist burrows, garden areas, forests, and shaded places around eastern Australia, especially near Sydney. Its body is glossy, heavy-looking, and built close to the ground, with strong legs and fangs large enough to pierce skin. Unlike many spiders that try to escape first, this one can stand its ground when threatened, raising its front legs and showing its fangs. That defensive posture is one reason it has become one of the most feared spiders in the world. The danger is not just the bite itself, but the speed at which the venom can interfere with the nervous system. In serious cases, symptoms can build fast, turning a small encounter into a medical emergency before there is much time to think. Its venom is especially dangerous to humans and other primates, which is unusual because many spider venoms are more effective against insects than people. Before anti-venom became available, this spider had a much darker reputation, especially because some fatal cases happened quickly. Today, the risk is far lower when treatment is reached in time, but that does not make the animal harmless. It does not need to look exotic or colorful to be dangerous. Its threat comes from raw venom strength and a behavior that makes close contact more likely. People usually meet it by accident, in shoes, pools, gardens, or damp places where the spider was only trying to survive. Cone snail. A shell lying in shallow water does not usually feel like a threat. That is what makes the geography cone snail so dangerous to curious hands. It looks like something a person might collect from a reef, with a patterned shell that can seem harmless from the outside. But inside that shell is a slow-moving hunter with one of the most complex venom systems in the ocean. It lives in tropical reef areas across the Indo-Pacific, often buried in sand or tucked near coral where small fish pass by. Instead of chasing prey, it waits, detects movement, and strikes with a tiny venom-loaded harpoon. That single strike can deliver a mixture of toxins strong enough to shut down muscles and breathing. The most disturbing part is how different it is from the usual idea of a deadly animal. Its venom can act on nerves and muscles with extreme precision, which is why scientists study cone snail toxins for medicine. In the wild, that same precision allows the snail to stop fish almost instantly before they can escape. For humans, a sting from the geography cone snail can cause numbness, weakness, blurred vision, trouble speaking, and breathing failure in severe cases. There is no widely used instant antidote, so emergency care depends on keeping the person alive while the venom loses strength. Most dangerous encounters happen when someone picks up the shell without knowing the animal is still inside. Golden poison frog. The bright yellow skin makes it look almost artificial, like something designed to stand out in the rainforest. But that color is not for beauty. It is a warning system. The golden poison frog comes from the rainforest of Colombia, where its skin carries one of the most powerful natural toxins known in any animal. It does not bite, sting, or chase anything down. Its danger sits on the surface of its body, turning simple contact into something that can become life-threatening. For predators, the message is clear before the attack even happens. Anything this colorful is not worth touching. What makes this frog so unusual is that its poison is believed to come from its wild diet. In captivity, when it no longer eats the same small insects from its natural habitat, it loses much of that deadly chemical power. In the rainforest, however, the toxin can interfere with the way nerves and muscles send signals, which can lead to paralysis and heart failure. The frog itself is not evil or aggressive. It is simply protected by chemistry. That makes it different from most deadly creatures because the threat is not a sudden attack, but the mistake of touching the wrong animal. Its size makes the danger feel impossible, while its color makes it impossible to ignore. Few creatures prove better that in nature, the brightest warning can also be the most serious one. Africanized Killer Bee. A single bee is easy to underestimate, but the danger changes when one becomes many. Africanized killer bees look almost the same as ordinary honeybees, which is part of what makes them so difficult to judge from a distance. They were created through crossbreeding between African and European honeybees, then spread through parts of the Americas after escaping from research colonies in Brazil. Their venom is not dramatically stronger than a regular bee's venom. The real danger comes from their defensive behavior because they can react faster, in greater numbers, and chase a threat much farther than most people expect. A small disturbance near a hive can turn into a swarm attack before the person understands what triggered it. For someone who is allergic, even one sting can become dangerous within minutes. What makes this insect frightening is that it turns a familiar sound into a warning sign. When many bees sting at once, the body is forced to deal with venom from dozens or even hundreds of tiny wounds. Pain, swelling, panic, and breathing trouble can build quickly, especially if the victim cannot escape the swarm. That is why this creature fits the idea of something small that can become deadly fast, even though the threat is different from a snake, spider, or jellyfish. It is not one hidden weapon, but a coordinated defense made of many tiny bodies. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you already know what to do.